Welcome back, everybody, to game number 2 of Dreamz, facing off against ForLove. This is the G-1 League qualifiers, a match being replayed, or a series being replayed, rather. Best out of 3. We're in game number 2. Whoever wins this earns the right to face off against Flash Gaming in the upper bracket round number 2, and whoever wins that will advance into the main event. $52,000 approximately in prizes at stake for that main event. So a lot at stake for these teams, and pride, of course, always something to consider. Dreamz took game number 1. And here we are in game 2. I am LD, and I'm joined today by godz. And I think godz may have accidentally muted his microphone.
Oh, gosh damn it. I did.
You dropped the ball. How you doing?
That's a good start. Luckily, this is just the first match of today. There's 2 more matchups to go. Looking forward to some good Dota. Some Pinoy versus Chinese Dota. Big reminder everyone in the chat. Keep it civil. Keep it relatively nice and considerate of each other, as otherwise our friendly mods, such as Calicot right there, will be banning you. But more importantly, this game, we did see Dreamz taking game number 1 in a fairly strong fashion here. ForLove have already made some adjustments with their drafting. They've gone for a first pick Chaos Knight, denying that from Dreamz, but I feel they've given up the Rubik, Queen of Pain as 2 heroes Dreamz are quite happy to play around.
They are. At the same time, Chaos Knight can give those sorts of heroes fits. That stun, they're pretty squishy. And Reality Rift as well, to pull Queen of Pain into your team and just burst her down quickly. I don't mind this draft for either team. Like you said, these are great heroes to open things up for Dreamz. I will say, I like that ForLove has taken some heroes that can fight earlier on. Sort of those bangers, those aggressive heroes. They're going to go back for the profit, but they already have 2 stuns. They already have 2 very powerful early game heroes. And Dreamz respond by picking up a Chen. So 2 junglers, potentially 2 strong pushing heroes picked up in that final phase of the first round of picks. Now we head into the second round of bans, and immediately the Shadow Demon banned out by ForLove. Not a hero we've seen banned much recently.
Yeah, I think this is a bit reminiscent of their last matchup where Dreamz had the Chen, Shadow Demon, Slardar in sort of an aggressive trial lane, I want to say. And it was just a very hard to deal with scenario for ForLove where their safe lane just got completely destroyed. And I think they're somewhat banning it out to prevent them going for that Shadow Demon Slardar combo again. But ForLove, similar draft to last game. I mean, we may see Banana playing Nature's Prophet for, I believe, like the 3rd or 4th time in these when these two teams have versed each other. Played it last game. He played it in at least one of the 2 games from Saturday. And then ForLove have got themselves a strong dual lane and the CK Leshrac. Gives themselves some pushing power with the Edict as well as the Nature's Prophet. So they've got aggression. They've got some strong laning heroes as well as pushing potential. That's something which they haven't really done. They've picked heroes who can push, but they had never really looked to take down early towers. And I think that's something they need to try to do against Dreamz.
Yeah, at least give them something to worry about in the early game. It felt like Dreamz wasn't afraid of anything. You know the AM's not going to hurt you. It's a jungle prophet, so he's not going to get the levels up that quickly. And then just none of the other heroes really had that high impact you're hoping for. Queen of Pain won her lane. I think that was the one big bright spot for ForLove. They're not going to have the Queen of Pain this game, but they have heroes who can have a similar early game impact. Early to mid game, I should say, the Chaos Knight, the Leshrac, and now the Prophet being picked. So I'm curious how they'll lane this Prophet. Last time was a jungler, but we all know he's a very versatile laner. Can pretty much go anywhere. One other thing that should be pointed out, if it is a solo mid Queen of Pain, Chaos Knight Leshrac as a dual lane is one of the few lanes that can actually kill her at the early to mid game. It's even at those first couple levels, you hit a 2-second stun, you followed up with Split Earth and a Reality Rift Edict on top of that. She may die from full HP.
Yeah, there's always the potential to actually get kills regardless, and we'll see where ForLove want to go. I mean, with this 4th pick now, Batrider, Panda, Darkseid, I mean, all those strong side lane heroes being banned out. As ForLove has generally run the Nature's Prophet in that side lane. Oh, sorry, not in the side lane, in the jungle, but they can run it in the side lane, and we'll see if they want to maybe do that with Batrider, Darkseid being taken out of the pool.
Yeah, 2 very strong solo heroes, very versatile laning heroes. We saw Batrider in the offlane in the dual lane with Earthshaker, but he can certainly solo mid, he can solo the offlane, depending on the hero matchup. I'm curious where ForLove go from here. Do they go back for the hard carry? They do have room for it. Oh, it's a Tiny, and this may be setting up a Wisp pick who has not been banned or picked.
Okay.
We saw yesterday, I'm just going to throw this out there, I think it was Make Dream who first and second picked the Tiny Wisp to start their match off. So I think a lot of these Chinese teams saw what eHome were able to do at the International and want to give that a shot.
Yeah, I mean, it's a strong combo. They'll have to run the CK Leshrac in the mid lane, then have the Wisp Tiny in the safe lane, but immediately Dreamz say, I don't think so. We're going to take that Wisp before you can. So ForLove, I mean, they can still run Tiny. I mean, it's still a strong hero without the Wisp. Not quite
Oh
quite the
god.
same late game damage dealer, but it's still strong.
Is it time for that classic pinoy combo, the Riki Wisp? It's
Oh
something
man.
they even prefer it to the Tiny Wisp, and for anyone who hasn't seen it, it can prove incredibly devastating. Blink Strike into a Tether Stun, very powerful. The Cloud as well. Even I would say in a lot of cases, even better at finding kills in the early mid game than Tiny. That Cloud just ruins team fights, ruins your ability to counter initiate. I'm not saying they'll do it for sure, but I think it might be an option for them if they want to.
Yeah, I mean it is, and it's something Dreamz have run a couple times before. I mean they need something strong to combo with the Wisp. They haven't really picked up. Maybe a Slardar would be the other option for them. I mean that's another strong, hard-hitting hero who they can make use of. Ancient Apparition going to be the last big key for ForLove. So, I mean they've got a strong tri lane. They may just want to run some dual lanes though, depending how this goes. I mean you've got the CK, Leshrac, AA. It is the Riki Wisp. Riki it up. Dreamz are here. They're here to entertain. They're also here to try take down ForLove, and this is a combo. This is something which has worked in the past quite frequently for Dota 1. I don't think many teams have tried this in Dota 2. A lot of Wisp play, but normally with a Tiny, maybe the Chaos Knight. But I don't think I've seen it with a Riki yet in Dota 2.
We haven't seen it yet, but in this game, there's quite a few targets you would love to be able to lock down and kill off. And the Cloud, up against a hero like Tiny and Chaos Knight, Tiny can be very scary as a farmer with those physical auto attacks. Even in the early stage game, just getting phase boots and drums can chew through a lot of these squishy heroes. But the Cloud could turn things around, so I like this pick. Again, we talked about it in the pregame. It's just play Pinoy Dota, play heroes you're comfortable with, don't try to force anything for Dreamz, and it worked great in Game 1. Let's see if they can make it happen in Game 2. Real quickly, we'll introduce the players. Chen being handled by Y Sup, Owe going to be playing the Queen of Pain. Over towards the mid lane, it will be L handling the Rubik. I believe he played support last game, but going mid, looks like it'll be soloing this time around. julz played that Riki, and finally up top, he'll be supported by JYC, the Wisp player.
Yep, and over on the ForLove side, we've got Hansi, the captain, playing that Chaos Knight towards the top lane. Following him is going to be the Ancient Apparition, played by Yu. And then finally, it looks like they are going to be running a tri-lane, an offensive tri-lane. 8GK playing a Leshrac. Not every day you'll see a Chinese team run an offensive tri-lane. They're going to give it a shot here. Mid lane is going to be Gwei playing the solo mid Tiny. Bit of an old school way to play Tiny. And then finally, Bew or Banana, the new pickup for ForLove, playing that Nature's Prophet for the third time in, I believe, 4 games here at the safe lane. He's going to be in a 1v1 matchup against the Queen of Pain. So I feel ForLove have got some strong lanes here. I mean, they can potentially win top lane. They have to worry about the Chen coming in for ganks, but the other 2 solo lanes should go pretty well.
Oh, nice play there by JYC, zipping over the cliff. But then julz is going to run back in. Fortunately, he has an Invis rune. No, guys, he's not already level 6. He picked up an Invis rune.
Yeah.
Nothing to see here.
It took a second to realize. I was like, wait, he's running right into them. Oh, he found an Invis rune. That makes more sense.
I thought the exact same thing, and then I clicked on him, saw the buff icon in this case. What a zip by the Wisp, and you know, you could just see the elusiveness of the support. Not going to be easy to kill in situations like that, but I really like this tri-lane if they want to run it. Also, look at the warding. A lane ward, warding off, spotting this rune and the rotation through the jungle of the Chen, and then also blocking off his safe hard camp, meaning if he wants to farm a hard camp, well, this one was already body blocked, but even at 1 minute, this is a dangerous camp to go to. The other camp where you can get the big creeps, things like the Centaur, the Ursa Warrior, the Wildkin, he's going to be very close to the tri-lane. I think there's a lot of kill potential here.
Yeah, Chen's going to come in looking for one now. It hasn't actually spawned. Leshrac, is he going to go back and block it again? He does. So once again it's been blocked. Chen still with no creeps at his disposal, at least no creeps that he wants.
What do you do right now? Do you go offensive jungle? Can you afford to abandon this dual lane? Do you I mean, I don't really see the other options. Maybe try and buy some sentries. But it doesn't look like he has the gold for the moment. He's got a smoke picked up, so what do you think? What should he be doing?
I mean, maybe just doing some pulls. I mean, against the tri-lane, the best way to beat an offensive tri-lane is to use pulls, deny their XP. I mean, Whisper's already stacked the pull once. He should be pulling that. They can pull the small camp as well, but Chen decides to go bottom, pick up a creep, may actually look for some ganks and kills on bottom lane. The Nature's Prophet is a vulnerable link in this ForLove side. Queen of Pain and Chen can get some kills. The problem is Prophet will just TP out, so they need something
top lane. Top lane. julz gets caught out. Oh, julz in a lot of trouble, and an easy first blood. The killing power of this tri-lane. ForLove, a quick first blood, and I don't see any reason why they can't continue to find these kills.
Yeah, they've got the setup with the Chaos Knight. They can follow it up with a stun as well, 2 stuns essentially with the Cold Feet there as well. And we're going to be seeing a lot of aggression coming from in this top lane, and a couple clarities being picked up as well, so that CK's going to have plenty of mana for this early game aggression.
Gwei has almost farmed up his bottle, taking a lot of harassment from Rubik. Rubik bought a ton of tangos. I think he was expecting the Queen or not the Queen of Pain. I think he's expecting some sort of more aggressive lane mid, but so much regen that does delay his bottle. Otherwise, he would have it by now, but not a big deal. Both heroes mid, farming reasonably well, going to have their respective bottles soon and be able to fuel that spell spam. I wonder how long it takes ForLove to realize that this Chen is bottom. I guess they find out now. Oh wait, tanking the Treants, but giving back a lot of damage towards Banana. Will he get the kill? One more auto attack. The Treant, the salve canceled by that Treant. And in fact, oh, he's going to try and eat a tree, but he can't get away. Now blinking forward, and the other Treant just sort of smacking him a little bit. Meanwhile, top lane, julz taking a lot of damage. The Tether doing nothing, and we're seeing the weakness of Wisp in the laning stage. Not a very defensive hero. Not able to do much to keep this Riki alive. In fact, they're going to dive this, the Edict hitting Wisp the entire time she's running through the tree line. Now Prophet joins the fight, Treant summon, and ForLove are going to look to take a quick tier 1 tower. So they get the 1 kill bottom, but big trade-offs for ForLove.
Yeah, I mean, kills and potentially a very fast tier 1 tower. They've got a Bastering as well, so this plus armor aura could just give them what they need to tank up this tower. I mean, level 2 Edict. I mean, this is a quick tier 1 tower. I don't think that Dreamz are going to be able to defend this. They can't really stop this, and that was with their strong lane and top. They had the Wisp Riki. They were trying to put the Chen top. Chen was forced bottom, so really smart play so far from ForLove, forcing the Chen out of the top lane and then just punishing that weak Wisp Riki dual lane.
Right, it's not strong now. It's strong when they get the levels in the farm up. But ForLove take advantage. They get a quick tower. The big question is going to be, how do they transition from here? Generally, when we see teams get that early tower, it goes one of two ways. The one way it goes is you leave heroes in the lane, you continue to pressure, you continue to get kills, and that lane is basically off limits for the next 5 to 10 minutes. But sometimes we see teams get a quick tier 1 and then back off and give a lot of space. And that can actually work against you, giving them safer farm closer to the tier 2, deeper in your own territory. We saw in a big game where DK played, Bernie was on the anti-mage, where an early tier 1 was taking his own lane. It just helped him to farm, static farming, very safely, keeping that creep equilibrium back. Queen of Pain is going to rotate top, so it looks like they're tired of that tri-lane. They don't want to deal with that anymore. 8 GK looking to set up a kill mid. Does Tiny have mana to go? He does, although his HP is rather low. Patience from this Leshrac. Still not going in just yet, but he is waiting. He really wants to find this kill. And is he going to go or not? I know as soon as I move this camera, he's going to
go. He's waiting for it. And he's going to find Wisp and Rubik running directly at him with Wisp scouting out with those little spirits. But he does back off. He
was spotted by a dire ward, so I guess they had some idea he was there. Still, I think they could have made a go in the Rubik, but not going to in the end.
Yep, and I mean, at this point, I mean, Dreamz are in a bit of trouble. I mean, Tiny is just getting his levels and farm at the mid lane. He's just going to be going for maybe a more DPS, not a non-right-click DPS, more sort of focusing around actually just picking off heroes around the map. He can go for the Arcane Boots, the Blink Dagger. That's your sort of old-school way of playing Tiny. And with a solid mid-Tiny, they've got damage coming from CKM Nature's Prophet. I mean, he doesn't have to go for that fast Aghanim Scepter with the attack speed coming from items like Yasha and Assault Cuirass.
I really do like the adjustment Dreamz has made, though. Rotating the Riki down bottom, Quap doing some farming in the jungle. Now in the middle lane, it's Tiny! Toss and counter toss! But Rubik gets the last laugh with that broomstick, just swiping him, swatting him away. That was a juggling act by both players, but in the end, Rubik prevails. Big kill. They really needed to win at least one of these lanes, and they get that mid lane now looking pretty good for Dreamz.
Yeah, it's looking good, and now we can see the bottle crowing happening. They've got the double bottle on that courier, one for Queen of Pain, one for Rubik. I believe both are going to be going back to Founder. Nope, Rubik keeps his mid. He's going to want to try to get that rune. It's a DD rune at bottom. Queen of Pain going to pick that one up, I think, and we'll see. ForLove, I mean, they're still winning the majority of these lanes. I mean, the good news is that Riki is now getting some farm, some XP, but I still feel Dreamz. They need to further adjust from here. I mean, Riki's actually jungling with the Chen to try to get XP and farm. He's close to level 6, but he's not quite there yet.
Treant facing off against Ursa is an old school battle. I want to point out, I don't think Apparition's really needed top. He could at least be doing some pulling, but he's just sort of sitting here, leeching experience from the Chaos Knight. Now Chaos Knight TPs to his tier 2, afraid of potentially a backstab coming at the tier 1. Now he's going to head into the jungle, his first foray onto this side of the map, looking to shut down this aggression, looking to slow down this push. And julz, after a pretty rough start, he's almost level 6, and honestly, he'd probably just be hitting 6 if he had uninterrupted free farm in that safe lane, with the Wisp taking a little bit of experience. Now they're going to look to go towards the tower. Orbs are going to spot this one out. It does give vision, but the Prophet ult bouncing through. This could be big trouble. JYC instantly incinerated, and now julz running for his life. Queen of Pain is here, but only level 5, and Gwei joins the fight, immediately dies. The Edict burning through Owe. Owe is going to drop as well. 2 for 1 in favor of ForLove, and the chase will continue. Julz running, Weiss up as well, booking it, hoofing it out of there. Riki the Satyr can drop a cloud and maybe even turn this around under the tower. This could be big trouble for the Leshrac now. Julz going for that solo kill, and Julz will find it. Will they continue this chase? Chen's still alive, tanking and surviving somehow. The Chaos Knight in the end will back off. The offensive earn brings that Chen low. That being from, actually not sure who got that. Was that? Not sure who was that earned, but now the toss on the Chaos Knight. In comes the Rubik, zapped and then pulled back in. Maybe should have thrown him the high ground. What did he steal? He stole the Chaos Bolt. This will be a sensational solo kill if he doesn't get fogged. Hansi just trying to use that move speed, but a long range Chaos Bolt. 3-second stun. Ancient Apparition joins it, but he's going to drop. And in fact, Rubik may be able to turn this around. That's where the earn came from. Was that Rubik? Avalanche, toss, Rubik is going to pay for his crimes, is going to die. Score is now 6-5. Just absolute chaos at the 8-minute mark. The Armistice gods, it is over.
It is well and truly over, and Julz gets himself onto the board. That's the important thing for Dreamz. Get that Riki some gold, some XP. He's level 7 now, and all of a sudden, he gets himself some treads. He's got 600 gold on top of that. He got up to about 1,500, 2k gold in just a very short amount of time. So that's really going to help Julz out. He's no longer as far behind as he was a couple minutes ago.
Oh, this is the deadest whiskey I've ever seen. Dies not with a bang, but with a whimper there in the top lane. The backstab coming from Owe, I really don't think he can solo kill this Chaos Knight, just hitting level 6. He's opted to skip Shadow Strike, not using it for the harassment, just wants to max out those nukes right away. The big AoE, and I think that's fine. Dreamz not really that strong in the laning phase anyway, might as well amplify your mid game as much as possible. Now the wraparound from ForLove, Chaos Knight, as well as you, the Ancient Apparition, looking to set up this kill, and this should be a kill if they can start it off with a stun, and it's a 4-second stun. Dead Owe.
Well, 4-second stun is the best second stun, and ForLove, I mean, that's useful. I mean, that's a kill on Queen of Pain. So, 2 kills in sort of quick succession here, and that's a hero who Dreamz need to get some momentum on. It can't just be the Riki Whisk killing heroes around the map. The only other real source of damage and kills they're going to have is going to be coming from Queen of Pain, I imagine. I mean, Rubik's done well so far, but he's going to sort of fade out as the game goes on in the mid to late game, become more sort of a utility hero, providing disables, stealing some spells, but not doing pure damage himself. That's going to be coming from the Queen of Pain ultimate and the Riki physical damage.
You know, the only other hero that could have that big impact is the Rubik, just because there's so many spells he can look to steal. Now he grabs Toss, again, just keeps on getting that Toss. I think he wants Avalanche, but not quite able to find it. They're going to look to get the bottom tier 1, and I think they may get this, a TP inside of the Cloud Vision. Everyone disconnects at once from Dreamz. Oh no, this game needs to be paused, and ForLove will pause it, but that's going to be the death of the Riki. Very unfortunate time to disconnect. I believe they're all playing at a LAN center, so guess the internet either went out there or the power strip was kicked and the power died. Oh, this is unfortunate.
Yeah, very unfortunate for them. ForLove have just initiated in at bottom. I think Riki's fine here. I mean, they haven't got any sentries or dust from what I can tell, unless the hero who's TPing in does. But I don't think that's the case.
I believe he's inside of tower vision, though, and that's a 4-second stun, so they may be able to bring him. In fact, I think they can.
Oh, yeah. Oh yeah, Tiny's there. So yeah, but no, you're right. That looks like a dead Riki.
It's just one of these things that happens, and it's a dead Riki. It's not the end of the world, but like you said, he was just starting to have a good start. Also, it looks like Chen's about to die to Leshrac, and is he inside of Edict range? I guess he must be since he's taking so much damage. He does have the heal. Ooh, that could turn this around though. Chen has his heal available. Leshrac's not gonna be able to stun him in time. Maybe this heal will be just enough. And a little disappointment from Julz. The game was not paused immediately. It was a 1 or 2 second delay by ForLove. Nothing egregious. And I don't know. We'll have to see. This Chen heal might be just enough, but I don't think so. I think Riki will die here.
Yeah, unless ForLove maybe showing some mercy. But hey, when it's a competitive game, when there's so much on the line, you take what you take, and the disconnect is Dreamz only have themselves to blame. So Dreamz are ready. They're back in the game here. And ForLove, I mean, they're getting some decent farm on heroes around the map. I mean, Nature's Prophet, as well as the CK, the Tiny at mid lane. There we go. Julz does go down at the bottom lane here. Ancient Apparition, actually, getting the kill. As ForLove pick up a couple.
Yeah, this is going to be an easy double. Unless Rubik has something to say about it. Wisp actually not dying just yet, but now the Rubik going to just have to run away, and they're actually not going to chase him. This does buy a little bit of time. In fact, a lot of time for Owe to farm. Only level 6. Desperately needs to hit level 11. Like you said, he is going to be the primary damage dealer in the early to mid game. Hopefully Riki can carry the torch later on. Right now, how are we looking? Big gold lead for the Radiant, and now after that engagement of pretty significant experience lead, overall, ForLove starting to pull away with this one. And if this game, if Dreamz going to lose it, they might sort of blame the pause there. But I feel like ForLove has been winning the lanes, has been just playing a bit better here, even before that pause happened.
Yeah, I mean, ForLove have just executed their strategy really well with the trial lane at top. And we'll see Dreamz try and make something happen at bottom lane. It looks like they'll get at least one kill here. They're going to try and get some more, and they really need more.
Oh, this is the combo, but will it be in time? They've actually teleport ahead, dodging the ancient apparitional. The magicians here. Julz needs to hit that tether stun, will do so, and they're going to chew through 2 supports. 3 heroes dead. It's going to be 4 heroes dead. Triple kill for the Rubik. Prophet is going to barely skate away with his life. So after what looked like a really bad situation, you see the GG Cloud living up to his name. That smoke screen from Riki completely turning that fight. Leshrac dies instantly, and from there they snowball. And all of a sudden they are right back in a game that looked to be getting a little bit out of hand for them.
Yeah, and what a reload, I mean, you meant just sort of went about a 1,000 range ahead just to sort of dodge the Ancient Apparition ultimate, get in a slightly better position so that Riki could get some more backstabs off and just sort of go a bit unnoticed in that entire team fight. And Dreamz, they followed up with the tower. They've been doing this in the last matches as well. Whenever they win a fight, whenever they get some kills, they followed up with towers. Oh, Julz, he gets picked off at bottom lane though, going for the tower, and the tower even gets denied. So there's your overextension from Dreamz. They win a fight, but they throw away some of what they just got back.
You know, it's like you said in the series yesterday, or the original series. Oh, the bottle's on the floor. Oh, he left the bottle. Oh no. Oh no, the courier just grabs it, but will it die to the illusions? It'll be okay. This is what you talked about with the mechanics of the courier just being a little bit different. And while I'm busy talking about that courier, Rubik is going to get Prophet mid in exchange for the Ancient Apparition killing him off. Decent trade, no real big loss for either team there. But it's like you said, in the previous series, the original best out of 2, or best out of 3, it was both teams sort of taking a lead and then giving something back to their opponents, so we're seeing a little bit of that here today.
Yeah, and ForLove going to look to try and pressure this bottom tier 1 tower, but I don't think Dreamz has done a really good job at defending towers, not letting ForLove really push them in. And it's happening again here in game number 2. JYC, I mean, he's just there with those spirits, and it's sort of forced ForLove to back up a little bit. They're scared of more heroes TPing in. It's Julz who's going to come in. Julz who's looks to be building a Yasha here, so not going straight for the Diffusal Blade. He's still really squishy. I mean, 800 HP, one tiny combo, he's dead. So I feel he does need some sort of survivability. I mean, maybe just the strength treads. He needs something to boost up that HP. A BKB later is going to be essential as well.
It's Julz, man. He's too hot to trot for something like HP. A standard Pinoy build is to get a Sanjin Yasha, and then go back for the Diffusal Blade later on. Sometimes we even see Vlad's if you're really far ahead, but I agree with you. I really think he's going to need some sort of survivability. They haven't used the relay kit too much yet. The combo has only been used that one time. It does have a long cooldown until Wisp gets some levels, 1.5 minutes. They lose that tier 1 bottom. But like you said, they defended it admirably for quite a while. Here comes the tether onto Julz. Well, they look to dive mid. Banana has to be careful. Blink into Cloud and then tether to zip towards that Riki and get a stun can really set up easy kills. But they're going to back off in the end. Just sort of farming here, and no clear advantage for either team. I mean, it's gold-wise, experience-wise, it's favoring ForLove, but Dreamz, they have a lineup, they have heroes that can turn fights and really snowball from there.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to be looking to do. They just need to start winning some fights, like winning a few more fights, like they did at bottom lane for Dreamz. And if they can do that, it will snowball, as you say. I mean, they've got the heroes who can do that, especially with a Chen who's going to really be sort of coming into his prime. He hasn't finished off his mech just yet, I believe. But when he gets up that mech, he's really going to be.
Oh wait, just had the blink cooldown, but eats the Chaos Knight stun. Then the cold feet, the A ult, just blasting his head off. Really, this Queen of Pain not having a good time at all. Can they find the counter kills mid though? Rubik jockeying around for position. Chen smoked up, waiting behind him, but ganking this tiny 1200 HP, not an easy target. I really want to see this Riki Wisp start setting up kills, but I guess they want Julz to finish his Yasha at least before that begins. I feel they've had some opportunities, like this Leshrac bottom right now should be a pretty easy kill, but not choosing to go for him just yet.
Yeah, they're going to wait it out, make sure it's a safe option here. Is Dreamz? I mean, they're playing this as safe as possible. Wisp and Riki have tethered up again at the top lane. They're relocating somewhere, I believe, mid lane. Man.
This could be a double kill. In fact, that's not a good TP. You probably should have canceled that one, but the A ult is going to hit, killing off the Riki, actually connecting on 2 heroes. Owe forced back, narrowly dodging that split earth, which otherwise would have killed him. Where did Wisp re-tether to? 2 seconds stun on Owe. Can he survive? Blinking out as the reality rip comes through. Prophet on the high ground with the auto attack and the ult. Wants to kill off that Prophet, will pay for it, but OA doing something in spite of that. Now the chase on the Rubik was a Vitality booster. Not an easy kill. In fact, this could go the other way. 3 heroes dead for ForLove, only 2 for Dreamz. Although crucially, the Queen of Pain and the Riki, the 2 heroes that we expect to be the big damage dealers, do get picked off again. This Rubik is really starting to get out of hand. Already level 13, Vitality booster, 1,300 gold, and if they can't kill him, there's like 10 spells you would love to steal. Middle lane, pulling in the Wisp, but then Tether on back to try and escape a little bit from that gang. Now tossed in, not where Wisp wants to be. Leshrac looked at that, thought about going for it. Oh, H Apparitional is going to hit. Wisp should die, needs to drop to about 70 HP or so to go down. 2 seconds stun, onto the Rubik, Queen of Pain, Prophet ult, all of these spells combining to get 2 more kills. They kill up the Rubik crucially. Now Chen taking a lot of damage, not giving back enough. He'll die as well. And now the TP out. Banana wants to escape. Banana does not want to be consumed just yet. It's too early for that breakfast Banana, and he will get away. Score now 20-13, and there's your Necronomicon for Prophet.
Well, Banana picks up 3 there, and that's going to really accelerate his farm. He's got the Necro book up. He's trying to just go get ForLove small pushing power. I mean, they struggle at pushing, so it's a sign they need these Necro books to help deal with some of these heroes. It's also going to help up against the Riki once it's level 3, getting some more vision and some just map awareness and control so you can spot him out in invis. And ForLove, they're getting close to some useful items here. Tiny almost has his Blink Dagger. They've got the mech on the Ancient Apparition, and this is going to get hard for Dreamz to fight until they've got maybe a mech of their own, and Riki needs that Sanjin Yasha up. That'll give him some HP, or maybe he's just going to go straight into a BKB with this Yasha. I mean, he needs something which will give him HP, whether it's a Sanjin Yasha or the BKB at this point.
Well, he picked up another Blade of Alacrity, so I guess he's rushing that defusal. Wow. It should be mentioned, if Chaos Knight gets a BKB, if anyone gets a BKB, well, no time to talk about it. Pulled back in with Telekinesis, then tossed into the tower. A great play from Rubik, but he might play for it as flashy as it looked. He is going to drop. Now the Prophet going down. I think they could kill this Tiny, but they want to go elsewhere. Got to untether, or Riki's going to be unable to fight here. Prophet buys back. Sprouting Queen of Pain. That's not going to do too much. The mana burn, but blinking away should be okay in the end. I really thought they could have killed the Tiny there, but instead choosing to chase forward, and maybe not the best decision, but they find out the Tiny, and there's the kill. So in the end, he tries to come back in. Bit of a mistake there, and he pays for it. Now 21-16. Very back and forth game. And with Prophet buying back, pretty good fight for Dreamz as well.
Yeah, the kills are back and forth. I mean, I saw ForLove still with a bit of a lead, at least in terms of farm and towers. But if Dreamz, if they can start getting down some towers with this Chen, they haven't got much pushing power coming elsewhere though. I mean, they've got the heals, they can maybe have Chen bring some creeps along, but they can't really push down towers unless they win a fight convincingly. Once ForLove are back in the line, they've got a lot of AoE, a lot of spam, and just a great team fight with playing disables. So Dreamz, it's going to be hard for them to get those towers. Maybe they look to sort of revert back to that sort of split push type of style where they can actually spread the map and maybe get some towers through doing that.
Yeah, I feel, you talked about the BKB on Riki, even getting it on the Queen of Pain or the Rubik would be so huge. It's not a DPS Tiny this game. He is going for the Blink. If he was going for something else, he could have already started to buy the components of that Aghanim's or the drums. He doesn't have phase boots, either getting the Arcanes. It's also very hard to push against Ancient Apparition, especially when he's so farmed. Level 11, mech, Urn, wasn't a tri-lane, we're only 19 minutes in. Last game we saw an Earthshaker who had Arcane boots at 22 minutes or so. Top lane, Julz the Avalanche narrowly going to miss. Prophet TP's in, but actually gets caught in the trees, then creates some trance to remove himself from that trap. And now the gank comes in. Riki Wisp, tethered up, looking to go here. Blink into the Prophet. They need to re-tether, not able to do so. Generally, oh, mid lane, no time to talk about that. Rubik taking some damage, is going to get picked off here. The Tornado doing its best to slow the enemy team down, not sufficient. Oftentimes you'll see the tether happen after the Blink Strike, just to make sure that you actually get that stun, but this time they do it in the reverse order and miss an opportunity top.
Yeah, they don't get that kill there, and they need to get as many of them as they can, because right now they're still struggling, they're still falling behind. Every kill they get is a small little opening where they can keep on farming, they can maybe pressure a tower, they can maybe use that temporary 5v4 advantage to look for another kill, which is slightly lower risk kills, and they need to get that map control up. I mean, they gank top, Wisp has some wards on him, he maybe wants to get some lane wards at top, some wards at middle. Right now, neither team with much map coverage, so it's both teams playing a bit blind.
Yeah, very blind. One thing that we always like to talk about and sort of keep an eye on when there's a Wisp, and any sort of Wisp +1, whether it's Tiny, whether it's Chaos Knight, whether it's Riki, is how squishy is that Wisp relative to the enemy team's damage. And right now, I gotta say, she's so squishy, or it is so squishy, whatever the gender is of the Wisp. But I just don't know how much she's gonna be able to do in these mid-game fights. Just a couple of nukes and Wisp is basically dead. It really comes down to the Chen with having some timely heals. The mech almost up, and Wisp is actually gonna get sent back to base, rather, by the Chen just to heal up. Mid tower slightly out deny range. Ult will connect. Rubik gets picked off by 4 enemy heroes, and now the tower going to drop as well. Qualifier not even able to get in range to attempt to deny, and the push is going to continue to come. And ForLove starting to play some 5-man Dota, and this is a lineup where when they have a decent set of items, when they're not far behind, they really can play 5-man Dota and be very effective doing so.
Yeah, there's not much Dreamz can do to fight them when they're grouped up. I mean, you mentioned how Wisp is relatively squishy to your opponents. It's not, and he's squishy compared to the opponents, but they're opponents that will just instantly kill him and burst him down. You've got burst damage from Tiny, CK, and Leshrak. Even the AA ultimate adds to that huge burst damage, where the Dire team, there's no real burst damage. They can't really just pick off heroes during a team fight. They can't say, let's kill this hero first and move on to the next. They really need to, sort of do their damage over time, and that's not really a scenario where they're going to be coming out on top of these team fights because of that. Julz does have his diffusal blade, so he wants to sort of find those heroes on the edge of the team fights, pick them off one by one, find the squishy supports, but it's not going to be easy. ForLove smoked up and looking for a window of opportunity here. They've got the ward on the high ground, so they're really prioritizing controlling the map right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Rubik is probably the one here you really want to bring down at the start of these fights before the big abilities start coming out. The smoke wears off, not able to find anything. A lot of time wasted for that. But they do have the Prophet, pushing, pressuring, and farming up in the top lane. The Necro 3 and the Midas both picked up for him. Owe sitting on a point booster, working towards that Aghanim Scepter, although I really felt that a BKB would be the best choice this game. Either way, he could go back for it. We've seen point booster and then just a BKB straight after that. We saw it, in fact, last game from ForLove, so that's still an option. We'll have to see where he goes. Both teams not really forcing anything, but now ForLove are going to group up top, and they're going to push a tier 2 instead.
Yeah, it seems like they just want to get these out tails one by one. This top lane is really safe to push. They've got that ward there. They find Owe once again. Queen of Pain just not having a very fun game.
No, not much fun for her. Now the Rubik gets sprouted. Ult is going to look to hit. Tossing, or rather telekinesis back on the Prophet, but doesn't matter. Tossing forward the Leshrak. Double kill for Prophet, and they want more. Could have dived the Chen, but going to choose to just push instead. ForLove not going to be too greedy here. And after losing game 1, really looking like Dreamz had that one in control all the way. ForLove poised to take a lane of Rax, and with this lane of Rax, maybe poised to take this game, which would force our first game 3, as far as I know, of this qualifier.
Yeah, I mean, this is ForLove. I mean, in a very good position to force a game 3, the first game 3, as you mentioned. And this is ForLove. I mean, they've just sort of made the transition over to Dota 2, and they're slowly adjusting, they're slowly adapting, and it's taken them 3 games, but they've adapted to the playstyle of Dreamz, and they're looking to take a win here. As Dreamz now in a very tough position. They've lost the melee Rax here. They're just going for a bit of a counter push at this bottom lane with Wisp and Riki trying to pick up some kills as well, but for the most part, Dreamz in a lot of trouble.
I would really like to see a gem on ForLove. I feel they have plenty of heroes that could tank and carry that. Dust gets popped, just clipping Julz, but he'll run away. Wicked sick on this Prophet, and he bought back at least once this game, but already level 16. 4.2k gold, massive experience lead for Dreamz. Losing Rax at 24 minutes against a Prophet. This is, I mean, if they can come back from this, Dreamz can come back from anything, but it's not looking good for them right now.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the net worth right now, I mean, all the farm is on that Riki. That's a Riki who had a very slow start. He's caught back up, but the 4 lowest are all on the Dreamz side, with Chen, Rubik, Queen of Pain, all falling behind, even falling behind the support heroes over on the ForLove side. So with all the tower gold, and with just spreading the farm a bit better, ForLove have managed to really consolidate this lead, and now they're going to be looking for more pickoffs at this top lane.
And right as you say that, they decide they're not looking for more pickoffs at this top lane.
They're really not. They're just poking.
Notice that they have nice ward placement up here, and it's forcing, I think even more importantly, look at all the wards that Dreamz are forced to buy. You talked about the items just being concentrated on the Riki, and this is a big reason why. These supports, when you lose this many towers early, they have to invest more money in wards, and they have less money with which to do so, but middle lane, it's a 3-second stun on the Rubik, now thrown back, and the Chaos Bolt stolen, but Avalanche toss, ult, Prophet ult, all the ults in the world, in the universe. Will it be enough though? Riki comes in with the Diffusal Blade and the Wisp tethered to him. They can kill up the Chaos Knight. Blink into the Tether Stun. That's the power of this combo. Is going to dodge the Queen of Pain ult with that Phantasm. Doesn't matter. He goes down anyway. Prophet TPing on top of julz, on top of the Wisp. But there's the Necro 3, and this is the counter to Riki at this point in the game, is that massive damage from those minions. Queen of Pain trying to do what she can. The Split Earth cast and then canceled again by 8GK. It looked really bad for a moment there when that cloud hit, when the Riki Wisp were tethered up, but the Prophet TPing into that fight really turned things around, and now Wisp gets pulled back, had used the ult to join the fight, and now returns there and will be easily killed off.
Yeah, Dreamz just dropping one by one, and now with that, ForLove going to look to try to take another set of Raxes, and with that, it's going to be nearly impossible for Dreamz. I mean, they're not completely out of it even when the second set of Rax is down, but they just haven't got the best late game. And Riki, I mean, he's a carry, but not really your hard late game carry. And heroes like CK and Nature's Prophet, especially with the items they've got right now, should be able to deal with him the longer this game goes, as they're going to just work away at this melee barracks at mid.
Yeah, and BKB is so good to have, as they easily find a kill on Rubik, and with that, the Rax will be claimed. And it looks like we're going to be headed to game 3. I just, you talked about it's possible to come back, but with that kill, that's 2 lanes of Rax. And if not getting that third, they could even just start sieging out on the tier 4s here. ForLove going to play this one safe, not going to force the issue. They know they're on the ropes as far as getting knocked down to that lower bracket, and well, they're lucky to be here, to be honest, because they did lose that initial best out of 3. Here they are, though. If they win this game, only 1 game away from advancing into the upper bracket semifinals into that round 2. So looking pretty good for ForLove. They group up bottom, and now they want to push the final remaining outer tower, that tier 2 bottom. Have not even bothered for Roshan, and it seems like they don't really need to at this point. Just going to push in bottom lane. Drums on Tiny, maybe going back for the carry build very late at that. Riki coming in for the sides, wants to try and set up a kill, but there is a sentry ward. He's going to be revealed the second he walks past this tree. In fact, was he spotted? No, that was the Chen painting. I think he saw them place the sentries, warning that Riki to get back. julz will retreat, and now 5 heroes barreling down on that final lane of Rax.
Yeah, final lane of Rax is here, and that will definitely be the game for Dreamz here. And ForLove, I mean, they want that. They want to force that third game. They want to get into this G1 league competition where we're going to have, I mean, $52,000 US in prize. I mean, after the international, I think that's the biggest prize pool out there for a tournament, and this is going to be looking good for them. They're going to play it safe. They're going to go for Roshan, get that Aegis up for them before they go for the final game-ending push here. And Dreamz just have to use this time to get themselves in position, smoke up maybe, and try basically get the best fight possible to try defend this last set of Raxes.
This is really cool. If you look at this Necronomicon Warrior, it now has a big eye that kind of warns you that this thing, when it's level 3, has True Sight. I love this change by Valve. I really wish they'd bring back the auras like we saw in Dota 1, where they're really distinct and visible. It's one of the few things I feel are lacking, and that Dota 1 does absolutely better than Dota 2, but a great little change there. Totally unrelated to everything we've been talking about, but just wanted to point that out for viewers.
Yeah.
They get the Aegis, and now they're going to push bottom. Aegis was placed onto Tiny, who's now going back for an Ag, so what for this sort of ganker build, but, Tiny's area, you can gank early, get this Blink Dagger if you'd like, and then in the mid to late game, come back to your Aghanims, come back to that Drums, and in fact, Dreamz, after some thought, are going to GG out. That's game 2.
Yeah, game 2, Dreamz going down there. I mean, they were in a really tough position here. It would have been one more fight and they were surely out of it. So I think they just realized that that next fight was not going to go their way. They were going to lose that last set of Raxes here. And yeah, ForLove, they forced the game 3, and this is going to be exciting. This is the first game 3 we've seen, and these two teams really look very even. I mean, not much separated them. I mean, both teams, the game they won, you could see they won it relatively from start to finish. It wasn't a major comeback, but game number 3 could go either way.
Yeah, absolutely, and this game went back completely to the laning stage. We talked about that tri-lane and how it can really punish the fact that Wisp is not a strong defensive support, not a hero like Venomancer or Earthshaker or even Jakiro, where you try and tower dive the Gale, the Fissure, the Ice Path, they connect, and they get you caught under the tower, taking a lot of damage, or at least halting your aggression. Wisp is not a hero who can do that in the laning stage. ForLove predicted the lanes, played it correctly, and although we saw an adjustment made I'm laughing because that Necronomicon Warrior almost killed Rubik from full health. We saw the adjustment made, but it wasn't enough for Dreamz. It was too little too late. Even the Chen getting shut down, the ward placement, just all those little decisions about the lanes. I feel ForLove just had a better idea of what their opponents were going to do and took full advantage of it in this game.
Yeah, I mean, the Wisp Riki the laning stage, like you say, it was the major weakness for Dream, and the Wisp Riki, he got exposed for, and you can see why it's maybe not as popular. in Dota 2. I mean, why maybe weak in Dota 1 even at times, because your lanes do suffer. Run a jungling Chen, and that's essentially, I mean, that's a lane which they can't win against that aggressive tri lane. Chen became very ineffective because of how he was forced out of his own jungle. He went bottom. They got one, I believe they got one early kill on the Nature's Prophet, but apart from that, I mean, Nature's Prophet still got farm, still had a really big impact on this game, and the same can't be said for some of these Dire heroes. I mean, Ricky caught up, but they put so much into helping Ricky catch up that the rest of the Dire team just fell behind too far.
Typical Pinoy Dota, call the Chi-G and then fight on, even if it's only a couple of heroes. I say this because after casting GEST, I don't think I've ever seen a game where the Pinoys actually call GG and then leave the game. There's always at least one or two who want to fight until the bitter end. Even all the admins are disconnecting. The throne's slowly being sieged out. Let's talk about Game 3 though, because that's where it all really counts. This game's already over. Dreamz out of this one. What do you think we're going to see from both teams? Do you think Dreamz should just draft differently? Do you think that the hero pick should be different? And for ForLove, did this just come down to the Riki Wisp not being strong, or do you think the picks had something to do with it? What would you like to see out of these teams in game number 3?
Yeah, I think Dreamz were forced into picking something they didn't want to pick here. I think Dreamz' first 3 picks, the drafting was fine from the start. They got the Rubik, Queen of Pain, then they third picked the Chen. I mean, Chen's a hero they played well with. They won the first 2 games that had to be replayed with Chen, so they were comfortable with those 3 heroes. The problem came when they saw the Tiny and thought, okay, they got Tiny, let's deny them from this Wisp, this will work out for us. But it didn't. I mean, they had 2 weaker lanes, and I think they should have just given up the Wisp Tiny, and then knowing that your opponent's going to pick Wisp Tiny, or at least expecting them to pick Wisp Tiny, maybe that's not what ForLove were planning with their last pick if Wisp was in the pool, but at least expecting that's knowledge you can use to just sort of outlane them, win the laning stage, and just have heroes that counter it. I don't think they should have tried to counter it by picking up the Wisp. I think they should have looked for other ways to counter it, and they'll learn from that. I mean, they'll see we picked up this Wisp, and as a result, our lanes kind of sucked. I mean, we needed to have stronger lanes, so I think game number 3 they'll draft a bit differently.
It really was a bit of a trap that ForLove said, and Dreamz fell into it. So that's game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. Goes the way of ForLove. We're now headed to game 3. You're watching the G-1 League qualifiers. This is a round 1 match. Whoever wins this faces off against Flash, fighting for a spot in the main event for $52,000 US dollars of total prizes. Stay tuned. Game 3 coming soon, and you will not want to miss this one.